What's up, guys? Welcome back to another This Week in Gaming video. There's been a bunch of interesting stories that have happened over the last week, so let's jump right into it. So with Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out in this upcoming week, one of the biggest stories has been the work environment at Rockstar and how people think that their employees are kind of slaves and that they overwork them, because this all came from an interview that Dan Houser had on a studio tour of their Manhattan studio, talking about the making of Red Dead Redemption 2 and basically saying that they would have to work 100-hour weeks to get this game out. And this quote was pretty much taken out of context because he came out later and said that he was really only talking about a select few senior employees, including himself. Now, obviously, as we know in the media, a lot of things get twisted up and a lot of stories get turned so that they reach the narrative that the news outlets want. And this really got twisted from everything that I've been reading, from my personal opinion, because on social media, the employees of Rockstar were allowed to talk about their experiences at Rockstar, and the majority of the employees that spoke out were positive. They were talking about how, yes, they would work overtime. At times, they would be compensated for it, and a lot of the times they just wanted to do it for themselves personally because they wanted to make the project perfect, and they weren't happy with not doing an excellent, amazing, great job for the game. Now, the reason I don't really believe about the 100-hour weeks and that being a terrible work environment at Rockstar is just because what I've been reading on Twitter from employees that talked about their experience. So for example, here is Vivian Langdon, and she is a tools programmer, and here's what she said. I have never worked more than maybe 50 hours a week, and that's a rare occurrence. But I generally work about 2 to 6 hours of paid overtime per week. I'm non-exempt, so my overtime pay starts at 1.5 times salary and scales to 2 times after 8 hours of OT in a week or 12 hours in a single day, in accordance with California law. Also, I have only been asked to work on weekends once or twice in my entire time at Rockstar on the tools team. Now, that's just one of many examples of people who have worked at Rockstar and have come out after the story broke, that saying that the 100-hour weeks thing is completely over-exaggerated. They weren't really asked to actually work that, and he was actually only talking about a select few employees. Now, you can go on Twitter, you can go on social media. I know I've only given you one example, but there are tons of positive examples on the work environment at Rockstar. And of course there is some negative examples, but there's nothing nearly as bad as what some of the media has been making it out to seem like. Now, obviously there's crunch time when it comes to games, especially when they're close to release, and people have to work a bit of overtime, and that makes sense. But from what I've been reading, not that I work in the industry or not that I've worked with any of these employees, is that a lot of them were working overtime mainly because they wanted to personally to make the project as amazing as it could be, and they're very proud of the final product that has come out, and they really don't want people not buying the game because of this story. So let me know in the comments below what you think, if you've been reading the social media posts from these employees, and if you think that the entire story was twisted up from the original quote about the 100-hour week from Dan Houser. One of Sony's biggest games to come out this year is Days Gone, and it was supposed to come out in February, but it has now been delayed until April 26, 2019. Now, the reason Sony said that they are delaying it is because they don't want to release it during that really heavy release period in February, and because they want to polish it up more. Now, when looking at the games coming out in February, the biggest games I think coming out are Metro Exodus, Anthem, and potentially Crackdown 3. Like, we don't know, that's been delayed so many times. But if Crackdown 3 does come out in February, I think that is maybe one of the reasons they wanted to get it out of that time slot, because Crackdown 3 is still pretty hyped up. I know people have been complaining, well, with good reason, about the delay, but at the same time, it is probably one of the biggest Xbox games that will be coming out for the Xbox One throughout its entire generation. And if it's coming out in February, they kind of don't want to take the light off of Days Gone. At the same time, this is a game where the gameplay videos have looked okay. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I personally am pretty excited for this, but it may not be as good as they're hyping it up to me. Maybe it is more of a mediocre Sony game, and maybe that's why they're trying to delay it so that they can kind of wait until the hype has died down a bit, and then once they release it, it's not really underwhelming for a lot of people. But we'll have to wait and see. I am personally pretty excited about this game. I love the environment. I love the amount of zombies they showed up on the screen. So when this comes out, I'll definitely be picking up. Let me know in the comments below if you're disappointed about this delay and if you will be picking up Days Gone when it is released in April. Black Ops 4 released last weekend, and it is one of the biggest launch days for a Call of Duty game of all time. It has made $500 million in sales in the first launch weekend. It is the most watched Call of Duty game ever in the first weekend on Twitch, and it has had the most online players in the first weekend for this generation of consoles in all of the Call of Duty games. Now, this makes a lot of sense. A lot of the other Call of Duty games had some backlash because of the advanced movement with the exosuits and everything. And this is a game that everybody has been wanting to come back, a futuristic shooter, boots on the ground, and as well as it has Blackout, which has had amazing reviews and a great reception. And it seems like it is the battle royale game to play right now. Let me know in the comments below if you've been playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and what you think about it. With the Nintendo Switch pretty much being alone in the corner in its own segment of the market with a portable console, there is a new challenger that is trying to enter the wing, and it is the Huawei Mate 20X. Now, Huawei says that Nintendo Switch is its main competitor and that this portable console, this portable device will be much better than it, boasting much better specs. And here is exactly what they are saying the Mate 20 will have. So it's going to have a 7.2 inch screen with a 1080p OLED display. Now you're comparing this to the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch has a 6.2 inch display with a native 720p resolution. And the Huawei Mate 20 will come with a Kirin 980 processor, which says that this processor will give the phone extra space to have a much bigger battery, and it will double the battery life of the Nintendo Switch. So all this sounds great, right? But you have to think about the price. This will cost around $1,040 US compared to the $299 US price tag for the Nintendo Switch. And you will only be able to pretty much play those games that are on the Android store. You won't get any of those AAA Nintendo games on it. So, I mean, if you're looking for a new phone and you like playing games on your phone, this could be an option, but I just don't think it will do much in putting a big dent in the Nintendo Switch market. I personally hate playing games on my phone. I don't play Android games. I don't think they're very good at all. I hate using touchscreen controllers. And with the Huawei Mate 20, it only comes with one controller on the side, like one Joycon style controller, and then you have to use a touchscreen for your other hand, and like I don't like using touchscreen at all, so for this it doesn't appeal to me at all. Let me know what you think about the controls, if you think this will be a Nintendo Switch killer, and if you think this is something that is practical to take on the market for the hybrid console. Red Dead Redemption 2, as we know, is going to be a massive game, and it is going to be a massive install, and it's going to be shipping with 2 discs with the physical version. Now this is awesome that Rockstar isn't cheaping out and they are not making you download this massive file and using all that bandwidth to get it onto your console. And they're going to be giving you an install disc, and if you have a PlayStation 4, you will need about 99 gigabytes of install space on your console, and if you have a Xbox One, it will be 107 gigabytes that you will need. To me, this is awesome that they're giving those 2 discs. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be picking this up digitally or physically. So that's news. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to this channel, leave a comment down below about any of the things I talked about. Thank you for watching, thank you for engaging with my content, and I'll catch you in the next video.